Right, we're rolling. On this podcast, we'll be talking about different areas of business and all things marketing. My name is Dave Doyle.
And I'm Dave Alton. This is Social Antics, another marketing podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Social Antics after a couple of weeks off. So thanks for joining us again, Dave. How are you?
Did you enjoy your holidays,
I did, yeah. We got our little summer break.
It was too. We should have kept on going. We shouldn't have opened up again till
You
September.
didn't want to come back.
No, September was the right time because
it's actually very hard, I'd say. It proved the point. Very hard to get an academic or anyone working and teaching to work during the summer.
I work very hard during the summer. I get all my research done during the summer. Actually, I'll have
come back in September.
Exactly. I come back in September when we'll be fresh, and there would actually be news. There's nothing happening because every chief marketing officer, director, CEO is on holidays for the month of August.
Very true.
No business gets done.
Very true. No, there isn't actually a lot. We were kind of looking through news and trawling through different sites, and the usual bits and bobs popping up.
There's a lot of pointless news now, so apologise for tuning in after the break. This isn't kind of a great comeback or anything. It's more of a kind of a slow crawl to the finish line.
We'll see you next week.
Exactly, yeah. But there was one there was one article there now that I saw on Marketing Week, who are obviously also stuck for content, which was about Airbnb, and they basically made the point. So the headline, or not the headline, but the bit below the headline, basically said, over the second quarter of 2021, Airbnb sales and marketing expense grew by 175% compared to the same period last year to drive a 300% revenue boost. And they didn't mention the pandemic once in the whole article. It was like, airlines are taking passengers again. Whoopie-doo, it's like fucking.
So say, what was the figures again there? So
175% increase in the second quarter of 2021 compared to the same time in the second quarter of 2020. That's a spend.
Right, we'll start with that one. The spend of the budget that they decided to cut. That we cut.
Yes.
So obviously any bit of spend at all was going to bring that figure up.
He was going to bring that up, and then they say it drove 300% of revenue. That is not attributed to their 300% growth. It's down to COVID and people wanting to get out of the country. That's what it is. And then it said they had the cheek then later on in the article to say, because then they were kind of, people are going to give out and saying, it was because of COVID, and they threw in,
which you did.
No, they didn't mention it, and they said, despite COVID-19, there was actually a 25% increase in comparison to the same period in 2019. As if the same conditions exist now as did in 2019. People cannot wait to get out of everywhere. It's absolute. I read the article and I was like, this isn't journalism. This is a disgrace. You alright, bye. Choking.
Sorry.
10 minutes in, he's dead on arrival.
That's a hard work done already.
Yeah, but no, I just read the article and I was like, if this is what they're churning out, we're screwed.
Yeah. So that's exciting. Actually, anything actually exciting?
Not in particular, but in kind of random, kind of stupid news, KFC are opening up a themed hotel in London called the House of Harland, where you can quote unquote chicken.
Brilliant.
It's fucking awful. Absolutely awful. So to be fair, the foundation is or the all the profits are going to the KFC Foundation, which supports a lot of charities and stuff like that. However, who goes to a KFC themed hotel? Brewdog Hotel, I can totally get. A KFC, what are you gonna do? Stay just eat chicken all the time? What do you do?
Fair play to them. Plenty of money to burn.
They obviously
didn't spend much on their marketing over the last 12 months either.
Now it's only a pop-up, so it's open from August 18th to 29th, so anyone desperate enough check in now, or if anyone's in a relationship that they want to get out of, book it now and bring your either missus or boyfriend or whatever.
I booked a romantic weekend away to the KFC hotel.
It's the KFC hotel, so you can book via hotels.com, and it's £111, which is very, very specific. And again, all proceeds are being donated to the KFC Foundation.
You say pop-ups, actually I spotted yesterday that Heineken Zero are putting a pop-up tent or, you know, kind of a setup, and they're going around Ireland in different locations and stuff like that, and they're starting to push the Heineken Zero thing again, obviously once again trying to get back into people's heads, because as you said, they're going back out and about into the bars and back out in the restaurants and pubs and clubs and all that kind of stuff. But I'm thinking we're going to see a lot of that now in the next while, because they very much advertised that they were popping up in really remote kind of locations, like literally on the side of a cliff beside a beach, not your usual Galway Square, Square, you know, Dublin city centre. You know, they're going to remote.
Because of COVID?
I don't know, but I think going on everything we've seen in terms of, like, you know, pop-up coffee trucks and all this kind of stuff in remote locations, you know, it's becoming a little bit more lax until obviously the county councils and city councils go and slam it all down. But I think we're going to see a lot more of these kind of brands trying to get back out and about again, because there was such a shift in people's shopping to go towards where it was local. You know, they changed their buyer habits, like, you know, so I think these big brands are definitely going to try and get back out and about again and get back into the face of people.
Oh
again.
yeah, I'd imagine. I was talking to someone who works with Diageo, and they were basically saying, like, their marketing budget was just like they couldn't do a thing, and there wasn't allocated until very, very recently, and now they're basically being asked to hammer home the brand again. Like, because there is, to be fair, it's an interesting time for more established brands, particularly in hospitality settings, because people have completely changed their behaviour, and people even like there was one report I saw whereby, because people weren't consuming as much alcohol, well, sorry, some people weren't consuming as much alcohol at home, people were literally going out and they were almost like trudging through the pint, because they weren't used to drinking over such a long period of time, and therefore they were buying more cocktails and things like that. So, like, behaviour is or has changed, and it just depends on who can win out that little kind of space, I suppose. But they're doing very well though. They're non-alcoholic or the alcohol free, whatever they call them brands, those are doing quite well at the moment. And then we spoke about it before we went on holidays. The kind of the so-called healthier alcohol beverages, your seltzers and stuff, they're all doing better.
Seriously on the rise at the moment.
They are,
like,
yeah.
The White Claw is like one of the biggest growing brands at the moment.
Yeah.
But talking about the
alcohol, fucking fizzy water. I think I'm surprised Ballygown didn't get in the act.
Not yet. Anyway.
But you're not buy a Ballygown fizz out.
We brought it up a few months back about the whole drama that Diageo had with the Guinness Zero, where they had to basically throw it all down the drain.
They had to scrap it, didn't they? Yeah.
They started promoting it again the last couple of weeks. So I even seen Dermot and Dave on the radio. They were given, get the Guinness cans, because they have to bring out this little contraption that you can, basically pour it at home yourself, kind of straight from a can. It kind of compresses the can. So they're starting to get on the move again to get that back out and about. So we probably see that popping up again as well.
There's a few, and one that I presume is going to be a flop. Now I don't know, but I worry about it is Heineken. I don't think we spoke about this already. Heineken launched their own stout.
Oh, I didn't
Did you
see
that?
No.
Heineken. Sorry, now I'm very unprofessional. I'm actually googling this here now at the moment because I wasn't
sources now.
I wasn't planning on talking about it, but
I don't know how I feel about that.
Island's Edge Irish Stout.
Oh, they're going Irish Stout and the whole lot there. Oh,
look at the brand. Look at the brand, no? Very modern, very contemporary. Yeah, they were going to rival Guinness apparently. No, fucking best of luck to them. But no, I thought even the look of it, like, it's not like, to be fair,
it doesn't look like like when you said Irish Stout, it doesn't come across. It looks like a local craft beer kind of a thing, trying to be cool, funky, modern. Yeah,
but that's it. It didn't even come like even the craft, like, it comes across as like a modern craft beer, the funky cans that you buy. It's strange. I don't know what market they're kind of going for. Like, I know Guinness did a huge amount of revival of their brand, where it was kind of conceptualized as dusty old man, dusty old pub. Whereas they completely changed that in the last kind of 10 years.
See, they started bringing out the likes of the James Great Breweries, and they first brought out the Hop House, and then they brought out the James Great Breweries.
Which is now off the shelves. Anyway.
Which
Hop House
is it?
Yeah, we spoke about this. Do you not listen? Do you not listen back on the episodes now?
No, I don't. No. What happened?
They took it off the shelves in the UK, I think, and they're going to take it off the shelves in Ireland, I believe.
Okay. But yeah, no, they definitely, Guinness as a brand definitely started trying to get a bit trendy by bringing out the different versions of the James Gate Brewery and all this. So yeah, we see what happens there. Talking about alcohol, may as well stay on that line. One of your idols is bringing out a new liqueur called Black Irish. Miss Mariah Carey.
Oh, Mariah! Yeah. What's up that you haven't spoken to her in years?
She is entering the alcohol beverage.
Sorry, what did you say it's called?
Right, Black Irish.
Interesting name.
And news I didn't know that basically it's inspired by her heritage. She has strong roots now from Ireland.
Don't they all?
Yeah, they all do when it suits them. Her mother is Irish American. It didn't say how many times removed. Irish American, and her father was half black and half Venezuelan, hence the name Black Irish. Obviously makes sense. She's releasing 3 flavors to the market. It's already in stores, selling for about, I think I saw about $29 or something like that. Had a look, it's up and all. She has a couple of posts up on her page. There's an Instagram page there. She's racked up a whole 15,000 followers, which to me,
that seems small.
It's
considering
small.
it's Mariah Carey.
Yeah,
that's very small. I'd nearly even go off of that myself.
So she herself has 10.1 million Instagram followers, and the Black Irish now is 15,000. So I would say that was a bit of a flop straight away.
Yeah, I'd be disappointed with that now, to be honest with you.
But yeah, no, see where she goes. She's going to take over. Watch out,
Bailey's.
Yeah.
Nah, I can't be the Bailey's.
Yeah.
If you're after a heavy night and you need a nightcap,
I was never into
Bailey's.
No.
Really?
No,
Bailey's,
no.
Big ice cube, nice little glass, unbelievable.
You want those the fancy circle ice cubes? You know the fancy onesies.
No, well, not at home, like, but I mean, John, if I was out in the I don't know, kind of a hotel or somewhere fancy that usually wouldn't accept my
won't
money,
drop names here just
exactly,
in case they won't let you.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Oh no, Bailey's gorgeous. Yeah, okay. I'll try Mariah's there. Try a bottle of it this weekend. We'll see how we get on.
There's a nice salted caramel one there. You can try that.
Salted caramel. Oh,
well, speaking about followers as well, another thing I saw was obviously.
But I presume sorry, is it actually launched in Ireland or is it American?
No, I don't think it's
because I actually think that will do very well in America, and it would do here. Terribly here because like again, like Irish people don't like the whole "oh, I'm Irish, no you're not, you're from Chicago," mate. You know, we don't like that, as especially in the way it's kind of portrayed. So the idea that phrase emerged from that, I don't think people are going to like that.
Yeah.
And we've got Baileys. Why would you drink another? Why would you try something else? Try it though. Give me a bottle of it there and I'll drink it. We can do a taste test during the next episode.
Yeah, sound. We'll bring it on. Yeah, just good luck getting into us at the moment. Be waiting a while. So we said she got a whole 15,000 followers. Someone that done a little bit better on social media was Messi when he signed up for Paris Saint-Germain. I'm probably saying that totally wrong, am I?
You're bad. You don't like sports.
No, I don't. So I shouldn't have brought this up.
No, you probably shouldn't. German usually.
Germain, whatever it is. But basically, after very very short time after him signing for the team, their Instagram account jumped over 20 million followers. Their social media manager must have shit himself.
Oh, I'd say so. But it's also, like I was saying to you beforehand, when he's applying for his next job, he'll put it in his CV. I increased PSG's social media following by 100% in 24 hours. It was all me. It was nothing to do with anything else. It was all
from
me.
One post.
Absolutely, like.
Fair play to him. Yeah, they jumped from something like 19.8 to 40.2 or something in a couple, not very very short space of time. So fair play to him. Yeah, a bit more pressure to his belt the next day when he came in.
I've nothing to comment on really, but we should do a spade thing on sports marketing at some point. If nothing to comment on that.
You're saying that for a while now. That's your area. So anyway,
I know.
What else popped up for you in the last couple of weeks? Anything exciting?
Not particularly, to be honest with you.
Keep it entertaining, Dave.
So the one I know we're out of practice here, like. So one which I think was a completely pointless change in strategy. Well, I think it's a pointless change in strategy. So, subscription platform OnlyFans has launched a streaming platform and app designed to show it has more to offer than the personalised pornography the brand has become famous for. So OnlyFans TV, or OFTV for short, offers free original video content spanning fitness, cooking, comedy and music produced by creators for their fans to enjoy wherever they may via mobile devices, smart TVs and so on and so forth. OnlyFans itself, which I didn't actually know this, has grown to count over 130 million registered users and 2 million content creators worldwide, which is very very impressive, and their strategy is clearly working, so don't bother changing.
So for what they originally set up for, whatever figure you just said, I'd love to see the percentage of those that are on it for
porn.
Cooking
That's it. Like, I want to know how to cook sausages. I'm going to not say that was probably a bad use that particular scenario. I want to learn how to cook
lasagna.
Lasagna
right.
is good. Lasagna is good.
But
I'm going to go on to register to OnlyFans. Never mind Jamie Oliver on YouTube. I'm going to go on to OnlyFans, and again, you want to be careful. You know?
But that literally was the whole point of it. It was these, whereas content creators or chefs or whatever it was, they were giving pieces of content, extra tutorials and all this kind of stuff basically off their platform. It was just a way that they could do a bit of a paid subscription, but obviously totally went down an avenue that they weren't expecting at the start, and probably
it's worked out for them. It's absolutely worked out for them 100%.
So as you said, why change it? But look, I suppose they kind of have to, they have to keep in the good books, because like even Instagram didn't like when OnlyFans started being linked into the bios. They started cracking down on it, so obviously they have to look to be seen doing something, to kind of combat it, I suppose.
It doesn't matter. I mean, no, because Instagram didn't like it because they're going to a different platform. It had nothing to do with the fact that people were getting their bits out online. Like, it just didn't. Like, there's nothing to do with that whatsoever. They just don't like people. It's like if you post a YouTube link on Twitter, yes, immediately the algorithm kicks in going, no, don't send that out to people because that will take them to YouTube. Yeah, do you know, it's not how it works. Like, I mean, like, I just don't, and I know they're doing it for publicity, PR and stuff like that, but I just feel if they're actually investing in the strategy, it's not going to work. There is a logic in having a Netflix or a Prime like offering for people to create content, which people do pay for, but it's a very tough play, because ultimately you have to go on to, or you'd have to build up your following on TikTok and then look to transfer that over for longer form content, whatever the case may be, onto something like an OnlyFans. But there's so much free content out there. I don't know, does that work for something like, again, cooking, yoga, tennis classes? Like, I don't see how that works. And I don't know why they're going to even bother doing it. What they're doing is clearly working. 130 million.
Someone sitting on the board with a moral.
If that's, we should set up an OnlyFans account and use it to talk about marketing. If that's the route that they're going down. Yeah, for fuck's sake. It's been a long 2 weeks, to be honest with you. No news has happened.
You keep an eye on OnlyFans, so yeah, that's your job.
That's my no, I don't have. Just to be absolutely clear to the dozens of people listening to the podcast, I do not have an OnlyFans account.
Just use it.
Neither for content creation nor content viewing.
Okay.
Plenty of it for free.
We move on there quickly.
Please.
This is actually a throwback to the very first episode. We done all the way back, I think it was around, I don't know when it was, last September or something like that. But we spoke
gone downhill since then.
We spoke about Uncle Ben's, formerly Uncle Ben's, now called just Ben's, or Ben's Original.
Oh, that was about the you didn't tell me about this. Sorry, this is about the anti-discrimination. Came from a certain heritage, was kind of racist and stuff.
Basically,
like that,
Uncle Ben, they rebranded due to criticism that it enforced racial stereotypes. They're part of the Mars group, the Mars Food Group, so there's loads of brands under the Mars Food Group that basically went down the same route.
Of which Ben's are one.
And they basically changed their whole image and rebranded. But since then, it only actually started kicking in here in Ireland in the last couple of months, but it was rolled out obviously in the US first and then made its way over. But literally, since then, it's the first time they've brought out a bit of a campaign, calling it Everyone's Original. Basically a video. To me, when you look at it, it was like we'll find every stereotype we can possibly find and throw them into the video, and we're the good guys. It was about 20-second video of about 6 different. You sent that on Twitter.
Yeah, there was all the stupid fucking mother throwing the toast over her shoulder and lands in the toaster and all this nonsense.
Look, I get what they're trying to do, but once again, it's
so blatant. It's actually ridiculous. Yeah. Like, yeah.
So basically it was, as I said, it was 6 real families, all diverse backgrounds, making an array of dishes using basically Ben's, it's actually very hard not to say Uncle Ben's, but Ben's Original Rice. So look, they're going to be bringing out more content like that, but I just think it's, once again, we talked about it before loads of times about, brand totally changing its image, which is fine, there's reasons for it, but then going so PC then with all the content to try and suit in to make themselves look like the good guys, when it's so forced, it's not natural to them.
I'd imagine for them though, it doesn't even, because the majority of, they've got their brand built up already, right? So it's based on, okay, you've seen it on TV, and then a lot of people's affiliation with Ben's would be, we say your mother or whoever cooking for you when you were a young fella, and it's in the cupboard, and you still have that orange brand. Yeah, exactly, you still have that orange kind of strip with the Ben's in blue. So I think the people are, it's a bit like Lynx. Even if they change the colours of the images, you still know what it is straight away. And I think they've got that kind of affiliation kind of built up already. So look, I don't think the shift in brand is going to do anything really negative for them.
No,
It's just a bit.
And to be honest, some people won't. Unless they're listening to Social Antics, they might not have ever.
They wouldn't even known it was changed, and they definitely wouldn't have known why.
Yeah.
So share with friends and other people.
Following on with kind of this whole idea of brand building and creating iconic brands, I read a really interesting post on LinkedIn during the week from Paul Dervin, who is the Chief Marketing Officer at the Irish National Lottery. I sent it on to you. Did you get a chance to read it?
No,
fair play. The article was basically around the obsession of building distinct brand assets, and basically for anyone who doesn't know what it means, it's basically clearly identifiable, whether it's music, objects, logo, colours. Basically when you see red you think Coco, you already mentioned Lynx, you think black. It's these clear identifiable that's a very hard word to say, identifiable assets that are distinct to your brand.
You've been back down home, that's your problem.
What?
You've got to fix your accent now again.
Here, watch it now, boy. We racial slurs there now,
boy.
Last January, the National Lottery introduced the big water slide. I'm not sure if you saw it. Basically, it's a huge big water slide.
I know. The branding is very, very clever. I think
it's basically a distinct picture, and anyone that knows it. But he stated that because they've done a lot of research into it since they brought out this water slide advert. But basically, he says 72% of the adults that they surveyed in Ireland can spontaneity.
You're really struggling, aren't you?
Basically, they can name the brand when they see the picture. And this
say identifiably spontaneous.
Watch it now, you. Basically, when they remove the brand name, the logo, and the tagline, people are able to picture that is the National Lottery. And that's kind of like the key that we all talk about when it comes to marketing and branding, that people can clearly identify your brand when they see a part of it, some of it, a tagline, a logo, a slogan, whatever it is, that they can identify your brand. So I thought it was really, really interesting article, and basically he went on further to kind of talk about the whole area of advertising, and that we've talked about before, but kind of 2 to 3 seconds to get your brand noticed, and after about 3 seconds we start to see the attention drop, and if a whole lot of people are watching our ad and we haven't made it clear in the first couple of seconds what brand is being talked about, that basically was pointless, that it was a useless piece of ad.
Yeah, it depends, right? Because, and I don't gamble. I don't really play the lottery. Every now and then I'll go, look, I don't want to get sick of work.
I don't.
I'll buy a few, like, I'd love to win it. Yeah, I'm 1-ish. Yeah. Sort it out. What's his name?
Paul Dervin. Dervin. If he's listening to this,
sort it out. Yeah.
Sponsored with
my numbers are 3, 49, 48, 4, 13. How many numbers do I need?
Some laughing if your numbers.
I know. Yeah, and I didn't play it. But no, he's right. Like, I mean, to be fair to them, right? As an identifiable Irish brand, I think they've done, like, their advertising is very kind of like, it's boring. Like, there's no symbols, there's no deep meaning there. But in terms of it just being identifiable, if you walk past those billboards are everywhere, with the slides coming out of the apartments and out the house, you know straight away what it is and what they're trying to communicate and stuff like that. So it's actually like it's not that clever, but yet because it is so simple, it's brilliant. Do you know what I mean? Like, take something that's kind of out of place, people look at it, that grabs your attention, then constantly reinforce, because they've been running that campaign now for a long time.
Well, no, that's what I thought they did as well, but they literally only introduced the water slides, he said here, last January, and really? This article was only written in the last within the last month, we'll say, so like literally less than 12 months.
Okay, well, yeah,
but it seems like it's been there for so long.
No, really, it is clever, and like, I'm always surprised with the lottery that they don't, because like the way the lottery works is that obviously you buy your ticket and the majority of people lose, and a percentage of that goes
it's a bit of a lottery, I suppose.
It's a bit of a lottery in some more ways than one. But then a good portion of that fund goes into projects, or sports equipment, grounds, all that type of stuff. I'm always a little bit surprised that they don't double down a bit more on that stuff from like a community standpoint. So like, if you're and engage in like hyper localized forms of marketing. So if I'm driving past let's say a pitch out in Ringmatton or something like that, and it's like, oh, this was, and have it on a billboard, that big arrow pointing over there was funded by the National Art. Because again, I think
you do see them, they're small little plaques on the front of some of the buildings and all that.
They're small plaque, but there's never any kind of celebration of it, or we've done. Whereas you go into Tesco and there's those big blue tubes, and you put the
Yeah,
coin.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's blatantly obvious
We're doing
what
good for
things
the
are going
community
for,
here.
all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So I'm always kind of surprised that the lottery don't go down that kind of route in terms of, again, attention, keeping their brand in the kind of mind's eye of the consumer. It's perfect. It's in every fuel station, shop, corner shop in the country. When you go up to the till, it's just there. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's one of those things that, in terms of their placement, absolutely superb. In terms of their ad, can't fault it. In fairness, it's one of the few ads that I would remember, shall we say, because it's so kind of
But
bizarre.
even what makes more memorable is he talked about it here as well, that when they introduced the music, they use "If I Could Dream" by Elvis. Really, really identifiable. There's about 3 lines of music before Elvis's voice kicks in, and straight away you hear that music, you think National Lottery, like, you know.
See, again, that wouldn't resonate with me at all. I wouldn't have been, if you had said to me, it's the slides, I'd have said National Lottery. If you had played me that song, I wouldn't have had a clue.
Well, actually, saying that's actually interesting, because he said that 77% of people recognise when they hear the opening bars of the sack, they think of National Lottery. But he says people have to realise and remember that many people have online ads on mute when they're exposed to them, so you can't rely on just the music. So that's why he was talking about the water slide, that this was added in as another piece of the brand architecture to make it memorable, like, because obviously not everyone is going to listen to the...
I'm not sure I entirely agree with that statement. I agree with the statement before, when you were flicking through Facebook and people would just it would be automatically on mute. Now when people are spending more time watching YouTube, TikTok, you're obviously going to have the sound on. Like, no one scrolls through. What psychopath would you have to be to scroll through TikTok without the sound on? Like,
True,
do you know what I mean?
true.
So as all these platforms have become more video orientated, that kind of myth around the audio, I think it doesn't apply as much anymore, in my mind anyway.
Yeah, no, it was really good. It was really good. We might share it.
He might come on the show. Tag him in, and he might come on the show, because we need a guest, because people are sick listening to us. He might actually talk about something, you know, interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was the one line that kind of really stood out, and when we talked that he said that we marketers are in the memory making business. That was interesting.
Did he work for Hallmark or any of them before?
He might have, I don't know.
Quote for his book, or
might have. What else have you got there?
You keep on.
You were talking. Well,
you keep on
you were kind
catching
of coming
me.
to the end of the story. You're not ready. You were talking about ads there. Actually, you were talking to me before you came on.
Was I?
You were talking. You said about TikTok there. You were giving
They're
up before we came on there.
They're ruining it already. We have literally spent the last 2 months, if not longer than that, saying, "Don't ruin it." We know you've to monetize the platform. Do not ruin it with ads.
For everyone listening,
And
the
they are
whole
the
way here, he
most
was giving out about it.
infuriating ads I've ever come across. They're absolutely terrible. And it's not that there was one going for a while with AIB when you opened up the app, and I was kind of okay with that to a point, because it was like, oh, this is an ad, and now they're going to let me watch TikTok for hours on end. This just pops, and you don't know it's an ad straight away, and then the sponsored bit comes up at the end, and it's like a square.
But
And
isn't
it's like
that
download
clever?
now.
Because you
No,
don't
it's
know
not, because I'm
not for you as a consumer, but for them as a company putting out the ad. It's clever because you watch more than you would have.
No,
if you
because
knew it
it's
was an ad.
pissed me off as a consumer, and marketing 101 don't
What was
piss
the brand?
off the consumer. I haven't fucking clue.
Brilliant.
It
They're
was an app.
even better. They don't. You're
was
not pissed off at a brand because you don't know what it was for.
No, but if I definitely, I wasn't going to click on it then and there. Put it that way. It was for an app. Fucking marketing.
OnlyFans.
No. No, I don't remember that, and they wouldn't advertise that on TikTok. But like, I have to say, as advertising and like non-interfering advertising goes, it was so wildly off the mark in terms of all the stuff that they've been talking about, in terms of not interfering with the experience, embedding it in the feed, and people being able to tag in e-commerce integrations, and they're working with Shopify, and their partnership with Spotify as well. All of these things that they were doing, where they were partnering with all of the creative hubs to come together to create something which was very, very seamless but still monetizable. And I saw it, and I was like, what is this? This is terrible. I'd have done such much better job. Like,
So now that you got me using TikTok, now you're giving out about it and you're going to move away from it.
no, to be fair, I warned you. I said it. If they put ads interfering with it, it's going to ruin it.
Yeah.
Already I found myself not using it as much.
I don't mind.
It's so infuriating.
Not that I don't mind, but
And
I
their
would...
algorithm's gone to shit as well.
What are you getting now? No more
What,
dancing dogs.
no, because what? Yeah, that's the problem. So what I'm getting now is a lot of And it was what happened with them. So TikTok for me is creator first. Whereas now what they're turning it into is that for every 2 videos that I see of, a creator doing, whatever, the fucking dancing dogs or something like that, I'm getting reruns of like quotes from movies or like little bits of TV shows, and like scroll for part 2 and all, and I'm like, this is not what I'm consuming this content for. And it's the algorithm, since at the start it was one of the best things I've ever come across. In the last literally 2 weeks, it has infuriated me beyond belief how bad they're getting it wrong. Like, sort it out, by chance. You're ruining my consumption time.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you. It's not that I don't mind, but if they're feeding ads onto it, I wouldn't mind if you watched 4, 5, 6 videos, then got given an ad. Obviously,
only
that you
6.
skip.
You get through 6 videos on TikTok in 30 seconds, depending on that. And they've also made it.
But now, the minute you open TikTok, the minute you open it, you're opening on an ad at the moment, which is really, really bad, I think.
No, it's poor.
I'm getting loads of ads at the moment for is it big highlighter pens or something like that, or big bio.
Sharp, you in the market for a pen?
I must be, yeah. Yeah. Once again, the algorithm's gone wrong because I've never searched for them. So, anyway. So,
did you get any other ads this week, actually, which weren't
go on, I know what you're going to bring up there. It was just before we came on.
So before we came on there, I thought it was quite funny. Now, to be fair, he pointed out to me straight away, so I presume it works. But you had a
I was on the Irish Times
website, and
the media and marketing section.
Media marketing section, which actually, to be fair, I don't think is actually powered by Google, so you might actually be okay. But the an ad popped up for Viagra Connect,
which got you really fascinated.
I was like, what? Like, is there an app that you download and it gives you information, or do you get an alarm?
Performance results.
Performances. Like, what is it? Does it log you go into your Fitbit as well? How does what's the Connect bit? I'm absolutely fascinated. And you wouldn't click on it because you were afraid you'd get more ads. Then show the rest. So bad placement. Viagra. Pfizer are caning it at the moment.
Yeah, there's nothing else really that I have that popped up in the last. I shouldn't say popped up now after you saying that, but
it's been a bad episode back. It's been poor. Sorry, 3 or 4 listeners who are still with us. So in other news, then, and we've commented a few times about the change in kind of movie production and how it's moved from kind of theaters, cinema, and so on and so forth. And there's been a huge amount of kind of remodeling or reshaping of that industry with Disney Plus, or Disney launching on Disney Plus kind of premieres of different movies, and them charging a premium on that, therefore taking money or transferring money from cinema houses like some AMC Entertainment and so on and so forth back into their own kind of coffers. So again, we've all been very complimentary of Disney in terms of, for their business and their business model, this is absolute genius. Like, it makes absolute perfect sense. But interestingly enough, and like all changes in industry, it's going to impact a lot of different stakeholders in a variety of different ways. But basically, it came out, I think it was last week, that Scarlett Johansson, who is the star of the latest Marvel movie, Black Widow, filed a lawsuit in the Los Angeles Superior Court against Disney, alleging her contract was breached when the media giant released the film on its Disney Plus streaming service at the same time as its theatrical debut. And obviously her salary that she would have received from her studio was linked to the theatrical release and what it did on the box office. And she is saying that this is basically unfair. I think she only got 20 million, God bless her, for doing that particular part. So again, it's an interesting kind of just a bit of a little kind of fracture in the chain, shall we say, in terms of, that's not the phrase, it's a different phrase, but anyway.
But we brought it up in the last episode, and it wasn't last week. This is about 3 weeks old now. We obviously that was on your last notes.
That's it, yeah.
But we brought it up in the last episode that the amount of money that the box office brought in, you said there, the box office brought in compared to Disney Plus, and Disney Plus was right up there across what it brought in across the UK, across America, and I think Canada included, which is absolutely phenomenal in terms of, and
to be fair, a lot of cinemas are closed as well. To be fair,
they are closed, but still, I think that's the way it's going to go.
Oh no, it will. No, 100%, absolutely.
But yeah, too right. Like, obviously her contract wasn't right, and so obviously she's missed out on a little bit of money.
Yeah, no, apparently Disney have come out and called her egregious or something like that. They basically said that she's basically giving out about her salary when a lot of people in that industry have basically been unemployed throughout the whole pandemic. So they came out swinging, in fairness to Disney. So
They
they're
were
not
the ones that agreed to
they're
pay her
not-
that money in the
Oh, I
first
know.
place.
When-
Like, you know.
No, well, I suppose Marvel, yeah. But like ultimately, no, there was ultimately it's just interesting again to monitor how the reshaping of that industry is going to impact again producers, so on and so forth. So that whole ecosystem is being completely ripped apart and disrupted. And we mentioned even like earlier on, and we mentioned a kind of a laughy and jokey kind of way, but even OnlyFans, like the growth of that content creation industry, and it's growing all the time with TikTok, YouTube previously, obviously. There's a complete shift in where the revenue or where the consumer attention and spend is going in that whole content, and I'm including kind of Disney in this content space. And it's going to be very, very interesting to see how that changes and over the next kind of couple of years, I suppose. I think we need to set up a TikTok, we need to set up an OnlyFans account, and we need to set up we need to get onto Disney Plus as well. And after that, I reckon after that we'll be very, very successful.
Let's start video. We have to start doing recording the video then, will we?
Video.
Yeah.
We need a new studio first, which we may have in a couple of weeks. We are working on a new studio.
We actually are. It's going to be very exciting.
It's going to be very exciting. We were kind of thinking, will we just launch again with all, marketing and all new things, and we just decided now we'll come back and talk about it. The OnlyFans news was too important for the listeners not to hear.
Go on. What was the last piece of news there that you had for us this week?
The last piece I had in the news was kind of just an interesting one more so than anything else. So Reebok is being sold off by Adidas. Adidas acquired Reebok in 2006, where it claimed the brand value stood at 1.7 billion euros, whereas now they reckon Reebok is worth about 750 million euros, and it's being bought by a company called Authentic Brands, who are also after acquiring Forever 21 as well, and they're expecting that this acquisition is going to go through in kind of early 2022. Obviously, them being a retailer, they're not going to go ahead with an acquisition before COVID is pretty much gone.
See, I'm not involved in sports like you would be, so like to me, Reebok to me from the outside is an old brand.
It is, yeah.
Like, I don't see it. I actually can't picture in my head anywhere that I've seen it recently. Do you know that, like, on it's a sports team or whether it's a piece of clothing or whatever, I can't picture. I'll picture Nike, I can picture Adidas. I cannot picture Reebok.
No, it's amazing when you see some of the brands that have emerged, like the Under Armour, for example, huge brand starting from, very, very low kind of market share. And these brands are really starting to kick the shit out of Reebok, do you know what I mean? And other brands as well. Now again, I'm not saying like they're not a worthless brand either. I mean, 750 million it's not pocket change either. But I think what's more interesting here is actually the company that's looking to possibly acquire them, Authentic Brands. I've never actually heard of them. But they're looking to buy, again, like I said, Forever 21, a few other brands that you could argue are in decline, shall we say, or have declined.
Well, we say they're in decline, right? Their retail presence in terms of physical store locations is definitely in decline. But are they going to make a go of it then online?
You're saying Forever 21, is it?
Well, any of these stores, like, they're obviously the physical stores. There's only some brands that it will still work for. A lot of them now are pushing online. We see so many, and they're doing the TV ad first, they're doing the online advertising, but it's all towards an online store. They're taking all those physical stores. The only one that I see opening up stores at the moment, and I'm seeing them pop up a good bit now lately, and we've talked about it a few times, is Gym Plus Coffee.
Yeah.
They're popping up stores left, right, and centre. In fairness to the lads. And it seems to be working for them.
Oh, they're going to be a very, very, very valuable brand.
Yeah. So like, I think if you're opening up a physical location, there has to be something seriously, either has to be in a serious location, or there has to be something more than just clothes on a shelf. You have to do something to bring them in.
It needs to be more experiential, ultimately. Yeah. Like, now, I would say that there is still a market for buying clothes. Like, I get really annoyed when people say, like, oh, the world is now online. The world isn't online. The majority of retail is still done in physical locations, and depending on the industry that you speak about, there's some industries where there's very, very little disruption. All the purchasing still happens in the physical store. Automobile would be an example of that. Not the second hand, but first hand. So there's in this kind of market, I think there is still a space where people do want to go in and try on physical clothing. Like I even know myself, there are several brands that I will know the fit of if I buy something online, but other brands I won't even chance because it's like I bought a medium and this is like a fucking tank top on me. Do you know, that type of thing? Like it just doesn't work. So I think in relation to these brands, if they are going to start kind of reinventing themselves somewhat, there has to be an experiential element. And also I think we're going to see more augmentation between the physical and how you can link in your physical experience with the online as well. So you can go in, scan things, buy it then later on, and don't be carrying things around with you and stuff like that. Because a lot of brands aren't good at that. Look at yourself in
the mirror and see the clothes on you.
All that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think that's going to be kind of the next thing. But I have to, like, I went up to a Tommy Hilfiger store in, I think it was Belfast, recently-ish. And they had a touchscreen kind of augmented type thing there. It was terrible. Didn't work. Awful experience. Like, it was there and I was kind of going, okay, this is kind of interesting. Haven't seen this before. And it was awful. It didn't work. Didn't scroll. Interactivity was poor. Probably wasn't very COVID friendly, to be fair. But like, I mean, it just didn't work. So I think how retail or the next evolvement of retail is going to be very, very, because we've been hearing about this augmented fucking reality, virtual reality for years, and nothing has happened yet.
It puts you off if it doesn't go right the first time. Like, you know, a lot of these kind of things are in testing.
Again, like, yeah.
A lot of these things are in testing, so like it's too late to be testing them out in the stores. You know, they want to be bang on if you're putting them out to the customers. Like,
yeah, exactly. And a lot of these brands are just not keeping up. Like, if you look at kids nowadays, like, they're all on StockX buying trainers and stuff like that. They're not buying things from physical retailers anymore.
No,
you know?
And to be honest, a lot of them, like, I've heard a few people even, I was actually only, I'd say in the last, now it's probably been around for ages, I would have no need to go on the app, but I only came across it about within the last 12 months, but Depop, did you ever hear of that?
Yeah.
So basically a lot of people are starting to use these kind of places where it's more second-hand buying and selling, swapping, and you know,
there's a massive trend towards sustainable fashion at the moment in that particular area, but because two reasons. One, kind of millennial, I would say younger millennium and Gen Z, they're not as materialistic. A lot of them are more interested in experiences, or the materialistic is the posting the photograph and then they're getting all the likes and shares and all that kind of stuff. So it's not as much about the brand vanity, anymore. And then obviously there is some people are sustainable or conscious about the environment, sustainability, and so much and so forth as well. So no, there was a couple of good brands. The Real was one. Depop, obviously. Etsy's done very, very well. So there's a lot of growth in that particular I would say in that particular area, and it is one of those things that you look and see, is there a trend here, which is going to be interesting. So yeah, we might cover that in more detail. I wasn't really planning on talking about that, but yeah,
but you done well.
Did all right, bye. There's a big spider behind you there, by the way.
Right, we'll leave it at that. So thanks very much to everyone for listening. You can follow us across social media, and we'll be back again next week.
We'll try anyway. We might take another holiday because this did not go well.
I suppose you're an academic, you're still on break.
Exactly.
Good luck.
Catch you later.